I need to start this out by saying I don't know shit about music. This isn't a professional music review. If you want to watch that, go find someone else's video because this will not be it. I don't know music like that. I can sing okay, I can play the ukulele pretty poorly, and I can bang out The End of All Things by Panic at the Disco on the piano, but that's about the extension of it. I don't really understand genre differences that well. I just know what I like, and I find it difficult to explain what I feel when I hear what I like. That being said, I get a little snobby about music, despite the fact that I lack the vocabulary to understand why. When I sit around with my friend at work who's a music teacher, he just talks about chord progressions and different terms, and I look at him and smile when I'm silently sweating because I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. Regardless, I have a very specific taste and will judge you based on what you're listening to. On my streams, I've talked about one musical artist much more frequently than any other. For some reason, when I'm streaming, I just want to listen to a group called the Veronicas. They are probably the most nostalgic musical artists for me, and I get infuriated because I just want to talk about them on stream, but chat never knows who I'm talking about. Seriously, they either have no idea who the Veronicas are, and nobody in my life seems to know who they are either, and I'm over it. So today, like you all requested during the Dono-a-thon, I'm going to deep dive into the Veronicas. A bit of history about them, but mostly why I resonate with them so much, and how to get all my feelings out, and also just all my opinions on their music, because apparently this is what you wanted, and this is what you asked for, so I'm delivering it, okay? Don't complain. I watched Sailor Moon frequently as a kid, obviously. In case you didn't know, my name is a reference to the villain from the Sailor Moon R movie. My love of it came from VHS tapes and DVD my birth father used to send me, but that wasn't enough. So I discovered a little website called YouTube. I wasn't watching what everyone else was watching on YouTube. I didn't learn about the viral videos until much later when they weren't as funny anymore. I didn't know what Smosh was until I was in high school. I was watching illegal episodes of Sailor Moon, separated into 37 parts, confused why Sailor Moon's voice changed so much in the dub. After I got tired of watching Sailor Moon content, I started watching Sims content. I became obsessed with The Sims 3 when it came out, and I started watching music videos made with The Sims 3. At first, I watched music videos of Evanescence's music. My mom practically raised me on 3 albums. The soundtrack to the movie Serendipity, starring John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, and no, I haven't actually seen that movie, and I don't think anyone has. Alison Krauss and Union Station's live album, and Evanescence's Fallen. You know, the one with this classic. Wake me up inside. Wake me up. But I was especially obsessed with the song My Immortal, and to a 12-year-old me, that was the saddest shit I ever heard. This was happening around the same time I read a little book you might have heard of called Twilight, with a movie that released the same year. It had an iconic song, Decode, and I probably watched Sims 3 music videos of that song too. All of these goth aesthetics fully launched me into my emo phase, where I grew a love for Paramore and scoured the corners of the internet to discover how to be emo and how to scream like Ronnie Radke. Like all things to a child, it soon became not enough. I saw Paramore in concert and I needed more. I needed more emo girls. I discovered Hey Monday, a band no one seems to remember except the lead singer became a country star and they did one of their songs on Glee. Blow the candles out, looks like a solo tonight. Alongside Hey Monday, I discovered what I consider to be the most iconic music video of all time. The aesthetics were a fantasy I wanted to live in. All of my hopes and dreams of my perfect emo gothic life were put before me to the sounds of cellos and violins and electronic beats. The black hair and heavy eyeliner were on full display, and the coolest part was there was 2 of them. History was made in Brisbane. History was made in Brisbane, Australia on Christmas Day, 1984, when Lisa and Jessica Orgliasso
Lisa and Jessica Orgliasso, better known as the Veronicas.
When Lisa and Jessica were brought into this world, twin sisters, Capricorn icons, and musicians as early as 5 years old. They did a lot of different gigs in Australia under various names. The Twins, Jess and Lisa, the Teal, before finally setting on the Veronicas before their debut album. The name of their band seems to have various origin stories. Everyone seems to think it came from the character of Veronica from Archie Comics, but according to an interview with the sisters on MTV, they said they got their name from the movie The Heathers, saying they loved the line, "No, I'm a Veronica," when the character of Veronica is asked if she's a Heather. In fact, the Veronicas got into a legal dispute with Archie Comics over the name Veronica, so who knows if this story from MTV is the truth or a cover-up, but regardless, the Veronicas got a sick collab out of it. In 2004, the girls signed with Warner Music and got to work with a bunch of songwriters to improve their songwriting skills. They've always written their own music. In fact, if you look at the writer's credits for their first album, almost every song has their name on it, with the exception of Revolution, Forever, and Mother Mother, which is a cover of a Tracy Bonham song? Bonham? I don't know who Tracy Bonham is. The Secret Life of was released on October 17th, 2005. They had 5 singles come off this album, and the album entered the ARIA chart, or the Australian pop charts, at number 7 and peaked at number 2. This album was a hit in Australia. It is certified 4 times platinum and spent over a year on the ARIA albums chart without leaving the top 40. The Veronicas were nominated for 3 ARIA awards. However, in the United States, this was not a hit. I only feel like I have to mention this because it's kind of the whole point of the video and why I'm making it, but it only reached 133 on the Billboard charts. The lead single reached number 12 in the bubbling under 100 chart. But let's talk about their singles, because I cannot go another second without mentioning the song Forever. Forever was their first single and debuted at number 5 on the charts. This song is iconic. I could bore you with the details of this song and its many reviews and words describing its sound and melodies, but I'd rather you just listen to it for a moment so you can understand why it's so good. Come on, baby, we ain't gonna live forever. Let me show you all the things that we could do. You know you wanna be together, and I wanna spend the night with you. It has that wonderful early 2000s pop rock sound that people are trying to emulate right now in a way that makes me so nostalgic for music, that makes young girls feel so powerful and badass. It was featured everywhere. The Amanda Bynes movie, She's the Man, multiple MTV shows, some video games, and an Ashley Tisdale movie. Forever isn't the only song to come from The Secret Life of. They had 4 other singles. Everything I'm Not is a banger too. I mean, the whole album is, but I think Everything I'm Not is like the little sister to Forever. It makes you feel all the same feelings in a less in-your-face kind of way. I was losing myself to somebody else, but now I see. Revolution is angsty and a perfect song for a teen movie girl power montage. Leave Me Alone sounds like it should have been on Avril Lavigne's first album, reminding me of songs like I'm With You. The last single was When It All Falls Apart, which I can say with full confidence is my favorite song by the Veronicas. They have 6 albums, and this one will always be my favorite. I think it's impossible to beat. It has everything I love about all the other Veronica songs from this album, but for some reason, it's one of those songs that just puts me in a movie. I can feel the longing. I can feel the eagerness for better days. I can feel the anger at this man who did them wrong. Even when I was a kid whose only love I had ever experienced was a deep desire for Edward Cullen. This song is such a comfort to me, and the bridge of this song fills a void in me like no other. If you are nostalgic for the early mid 2000s rock sound that everyone is trying to replicate right now, please go listen to this album. Especially I Could Get Used to This. I can't tell you how many Sims 3 music videos I watched to this song. A few years after taking The Secret Life of all over the world and charting everywhere except apparently in the United States, it was time for another album. Sophomore albums can be pretty daunting for newer artists, but that was not an issue for my girls. Trading out their pop rock sound for a more club-friendly, edgy pop, the Veronicas released Hook Me Up on November 3rd, 2007, and everyone ate it up. It debuted on the ARIA albums chart at number 2 and a certified double platinum. Their first single, Hook Me Up, finally scored the Veronicas a number 1 hit in Australia, and the world loved it too, even the US. Kinda. It was number 1 on the Heat Seekers chart and number 107 on the Billboard 200. Regardless of the United States' poor taste, Hook Me Up was even better received than The Secret Life of. It was proud to show off the Veronica's new, even bolder persona. It was darker, edgier, sexier, and honestly an incredible follow-up to their first album. I think this one is my favorite as a collective album because of the gothic pop persona I thrive under. I mean, look at me. Don't I look goth and pop? Again, the twin sisters have writing credits on every song on this album, with the exception of one, This Love, written by Kesha. Oh yeah, this song was written by Kesha before she was famous. The first single from this album was the title track, Hook Me Up. It was their first number 1 hit, and that's all well and good, but what we need to talk about is the music video. This music video is ingrained in every crevice of my brain. It was so edgy, so cool, so emo, and portrayed a world my middle school self craved to belong to. I will never get the image of them holding each other and that glittery eyeliner out of my soul. Another single was This Love. Yes, the one by Kesha. It was a bit more gut-wrenching and less upbeat than their other singles, but man, 12-year-old me longed for that love, and that was enough. The music video was simple but moving, showing how hard it was to be away from the one you love, who in this music video was... Wait, is that Brody from Glee? The prostitute boyfriend from season 4? Yeah, apparently he's Australian and dated Lisa? What? Anyway, Popular was also a single from this album, and this song is crazy. I used to feel like the baddest bitch of 7th grade listening to this song. I was Sharpay from High School Musical. I was London Tipton. I was Paris Hilton. This song is the ultimate rich bitch anthem, and while it's corny, it's fantastic too. The fact that there's no music video for this song is a crime, because I can only imagine how perfect it would have been.
The lights are out and I barely know you. We're going up and the place is slowing down. I knew you'd come around.
Take Me on the Floor was one of the reasons I knew I wasn't straight. I remember listening to the song and hoping my mom wouldn't come in and hear the lyric, "I wanna kiss a girl," and freak out. This song should have been a huge club track, and I think it's a crime that more people don't know it.
Take me on the
Though I will say, when I ask people if they know anything by the Veronicas, this song does seem to come up more often than most others, with the exception of one, which we'll get to in a second. This music video was controversial. It featured provocative lyrics for 2007 and 2 girls kissing. Honestly though, watching it as an adult, I remember this music video being a lot darker and sexier, and honestly, it's kind of not that bad. Like, the outfits are tame, the colors are bright, and people really aren't grinding all that much. It's pretty harmless. I mean, if you really watch closely, the girls don't actually ever kiss. Which, now I'm kind of like, damn, that's That's a bummer. I thought they were gonna smooch a little bit. The next song honestly deserves its own section. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I stumbled upon a music video one day that literally changed my life. I can only say that about like 2 other music videos, and that didn't happen until 2013, but we'll save the Panic at the Disco deep dive for another day. The world was anew on December 3rd, 2008. I really mean it when I say the world literally changed that day when the most iconic music video of all time dropped. Okay, I think it's the most iconic music video of all time. Plenty of people disagree with me, but I don't care. This is my video and it's about my emotions, and I'm right, okay? I'm right. It's the most iconic video of all time. Leave me alone. It was Untouched, the second single from Hook Me Up and their most popular song to date. It even got its credit in the United States, peaking at 17 on the Billboard chart, finally! This song was, and still is, everything to me. This song is literally insane. And I know I said that about popular, but this one is insane, okay? It defies what I think I know about music, and I think it defies what everyone thinks they know about music, okay? It makes no sense, but also perfect sense. It's so bad, it's good. It provides you with a whirlwind of emotions, with the string instruments colliding with the electronic beats that crash into guitar riffs. It creates a sort of whiplash effect that no other song has been able to emulate for me, and I love every second of it. The music video was all-consuming. It is a gothic ball where they really lean into the twin thing. I have distinct memories of watching this music video on repeat and not being able to tell the girls apart. Just staring at their perfect faces, trying to distinguish which one was which, and having total empathy for the guy in the music video as he gets confused, not realizing there was 2 of them. Somehow, this song never reached #1 in Australia. It reached #2. But it definitely cemented its place in history and remains a more iconic song than Hook Me Up, despite it not charting as high.
We look at the Australian songbook. Untouched is absolutely in it. This is one of the songs. You've even described it before as our unofficial anthem.
It was the first song we wrote for our second album. For us, we took everything we learned and we took a risk with Untouched, because at the time, the genre and style of music that it wasn't being played on radio. Lady Gaga hadn't even come out yet. So electro pop rock just wasn't a thing.
When we play that song live, people go to some other place, like mentally. They lose it. It's awesome. And it's just like so much energy coming at you. I mean, it's the highest compliment as an artist to have people connect with your music like that.
Honestly, those violins could wake me from a coma.
I even found an article that kind of summarizes why. The article says that the BPM is to blame. It is a really fast song.
Wrote Untouched, we felt like it was a special song. We really believed in the Hook Me Up record that we made. We had the head of Warner Brothers tell us that he didn't think there was a single hit on the record and he wasn't going to release it. He heard Untouched, he heard Hook Me Up, songs that have gone on to become the DNA of who we are. It was really our management and us who just forged through that. We believe in this record. It was so different at the time. They didn't think they could get it played on radio.
It's very much an electronic-based record. Radio was being dominated by guitars. It was quite ahead of its time in that sense.
Almost a year after we released that song, it got picked up as Z100 and it won out against every song for almost 3 months straight, including Beyonce. All these crazy things started happening with that song in particular, and then the million downloads. It was moments like that where we ourselves knew that if we just kept working it, that our fans would connect with it. There was something special about it.
Or maybe it's the lyrics.
Okay, Lisa, we're nearly done with Untouched. I can feel it coming. We just don't have an opening line yet. What do we do? I'm feeling you, Jess. I know. It's such a good song and it's so emotional. The opening line, it needs to be deep and meaningful, and it's just got to come straight out of the gates and hit you right in the soul. I know, we're the Veronicas. This has got to get you in the heartstrings, you know? We're so fucking hot. We are so fucking hot. Oh my God, I've got it. Okay, how about, and hear me out on this one. I go ooh ooh, you go ah ah. Ah la la la, ah la la la. Oh my God, we've done it. That's the one. Write it down. This is going to be the biggest hit in Australian history. We are so fucking hot. We're so hot.
I go ooh ooh, you go ah ah is pretty fucking catchy, and low-key it sounds like sex, which we as a society, we really love that. We really love sex. That's the whole reason I'm a succubus vtuber, because we love sex so much, or maybe it's the strings. I thought that was just me who had a weird obsession with the cello, but it might not be. It might be anyone. Put in the comments if you have an obsession with the cello. Apparently, though, it's probably just nostalgia, which makes a lot of sense considering that's the reason we have 30 million different reboots and remakes right now. Even people who have never heard the song seem to like it too. Right? I want your honest opinion when you hear this song.
Yep.
I want you to give your honest thoughts on this song when you hear it.
Okay.
Even if you hate it.
Pretty stellar already.
So far, it sounds like something out of like Scott Pilgrim.
Ooh.
I can take my ass. Oh shit. Oh, this is like an emo anthem already, I can tell.
So far, this just sounds like generic, like early 2000s pop to me. Like, it's not really like standing out or anything.
Oh, this fucks.
Hell yeah.
I'm just dancing in the dining room right now. Oh my god. Dude, this goes crazy. This belongs in a playlist with, what is it? Oh, that one Metro... What is the name of it?
Oh, Shake It?
Yes, it belongs in a playlist with Shake It.
Yeah, I was literally reading an article about the song where they compared it to Shake It. So that's really funny.
Oh yeah. It's the same vibe that song gives me, and it like reminds me of transitioning from elementary school to middle school, and where I thought I was the shit and like an older kid. I'm like, yeah, I'm all grown up.
If this helps any, this was like the era-defining song. Does that make sense?
When you say era-defining, do you mean like in general or for them?
In general.
That really doesn't help. I can hear the Disney Channel original movie this is the opening to.
Oh, so you're twins? So hello.
Hey,
So you guys are from England?
Australia. All my life you've had an opinion, doing things for the wrong reasons. Well, not today.
They're cute, they're twins, and they can sing, and they're from England.
Australia.
Yeah, whatever.
Do you think it's a genuinely good song, or do you think people only like it because it's nostalgic?
I like it because it has the nostalgic, like, vibe to it. It's not nostalgic in itself because I haven't listened to it, but it has the same kind of vibe as, like again, Shake It and other songs I used to listen to when I was, 13, trying to find myself and shit. So that's where I find the enjoyment mostly.
Do you think this song is good, or do you think it's like, no, people only like it because it's nostalgic?
I can definitely understand the nostalgia. For me personally, it's just like there's nothing really like stand out about it. It just sounds like generic sort of rock pop, like that sort of genre. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it. Like for the era, that was probably like some redefining shit. But like I feel like strings like violins have become way more common and sort of like harder sort of sounds. Like Apocalyptica has made that her whole Apocalyptica has made that their whole thing.
I would say it's a good song. Yeah, it's a good song because it gives that nostalgia vibe, but also just has its own, like, almost gave me like goth music vibes, just with like the synthy shit with it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the song was 2007.
Well, I was right about 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I fuck with it hardcore. I like it, and I think it's a good song.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I see some credit for the nostalgia crowd, but also, like I preface, this just isn't the kind of thing I usually listen to.
I wouldn't say it's pop. It's got influences from like goth and EDM shit.
Yeah, it's considered punk rock electro pop.
Yeah, that's like that fucked.
Regardless of the reason, it's got a legacy. People are obsessed with this song.
Why is it considered the Australian national anthem?
Yeah, people put their hands on their hearts when it
Yes.
comes on. I did.
And you know, I think I figured it out. In You're the Voice, John Farnham, he's got a bagpipes bit that, you know, that song is obviously iconic again and a definite anthem of Australia. And then we've got AC/DC, who also have the bagpipes. The beginning of Untouched with the strings is the musical part, like equivalent of the bagpipes in those songs.
Totally.
Where it's the music, it's like the 2000s musical part of bagpipes, but it's strings. And then I thought maybe we should do Untouched with bagpipes at the beginning.
Yes, that would be lit. I would love to hear that.
However you feel about it, fine. But you can't deny it's definitely made a cultural impact. So you would think with smashing successes such as Hook Me Up and Untouched, the Veronicas would be back in the studio smashing out their third album. Well, they kinda were, until some unfortunate business happened. As they were working on their third album, they did some side gigs as well. Different collabs that I'm not going to spend any more time talking about because frankly, I don't really care. But there were some EPs and singles with other artists that seemed to do well in Australia. Things were so weird that there was even a brief split between the sisters, but they got back together very quickly. According to Wikipedia, it's in the same year. I don't know. I'm sorry for rehashing a Wikipedia article. There's not exactly millions of articles written about the entire timeline of the Veronicas. I'm really trying here. Flash forward to 2012, 5 years after the release of Hook Me Up. There had been no new Veronicas up to this point, so fans were ecstatic to hear them announce a new album called Life on Mars, and they released the single Lolita to generate some hype in July of that year. Lolita was this very typical 2012 pop song, but despite eliminating the guitar riffs that the girls were known for, it still had this edgy, creepy vibe to it that supported the EDM noise in the hook of the song. I actually very much hate any music that has EDM screeching beat drop bullshit, and I really hate EDM more than any other music genre. I know people are always like, I like anything except country. That's me. I like anything except EDM. But I still like this song. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I don't know, it's still a vibe. Even the breakdown towards the end, I like it. I like this song. But news soon came that Warner Music, their label at the time, decided to push back the release on their album until the following year. And suddenly Lolita actually had nothing to do with Life on Mars, and this was just something to say, hey, sorry, we haven't released music in a while. Here, have this. A little over a year later, they announced that they had split with Warner Music, and Life on Mars wasn't happening. It was a dark, dark day. Things were messy. The Veronicas even went on Facebook to call out their record company for stalling music releases. You can read all about that here. Crazy. Finally, in 2014, they struck a deal with Sony Music Australia to release their third album.
Wish I could say you're not the one.
Our favorite girlies released their self-titled album on November 21st, 2014. It charted at number 2 on the ARIA charts and was a hit in Australia, though it never charted in the United States, and this is the only one that I'm kind of okay with. And the singles had a very positive reception. However, I'm gonna talk about myself for a second. Their first single was You Ruin Me, and this song is actually incredible.
Job well done, standing ovation.
Okay, I listened to it over and over again. So much so that I remember my best friend in high school telling me that when she handed me the aux cord, that I could play whatever I wanted unless it was You Ruin Me, because apparently I played it like 40 million times, and she was like, bitch, you're listening to that song too much. Are we really listening to it again? And I said yes. It was their second #1 single, and critics loved it. And I loved it. It was a romantic, beautiful ballad of heartbreak and betrayal, and damn it, I low-key still cry when I hear this song. If you play this song for me, I'm gonna cry. While 17-year-old me was so excited that there was a new Veronicas album out, it felt like a bomb had dropped on me when I heard their third album for the first time. I hated this album. I really, truly hated it. It was progressive pop. It ditched all edginess and guitar that I loved about them and replaced it with everything I hated about pop music. EDM influences, catchiness for catchiness sake, experimental in a way that made the album less cohesive and just messy. And it felt super out of date. Even for 2014, I remember feeling like this is old. And when I was reading the Wikipedia articles and stuff about this, I saw that critics kind of felt the same way, and that was really validating for me because I thought I was just being a music snob, but no, it felt out of date. I really hated this album. At the time, I was really into like punk pop, and I was a Tumblr girl, so I loved Panic at the Disco and Marina and the 1975 and Halsey and Arctic Monkeys. So looking back, of course I would hate it. So in 2024, I gave it a re-listen. And I still hate it. Don't get me wrong, it has some bangers, but I literally cringed listening to this entire album in full. The other two singles besides You Ruin Me were If You Love Someone and Cruel. And If You Love Someone feels like it belongs in a Dove commercial about female empowerment, or an ad with visuals of girls running in slow-mo in sunshine, ready to sell me some tampons. Cruel is slightly better, I have it saved at least, but it gives the same vibes. Even if I hate it less. It feels like a 2014 Macy's ad, which I think is a step up from a tampon commercial.
Feel so cruel, the way you treat me like a stranger. Cruel, when you're looking like that. Oh, cruel, the way you touch her when you kiss her. Take my endless summer, turn it into winter.
There are some songs I like on the album. Mad Love, which just feels like Cruel's twin sister. If Cruel is Jess, Mad Love is Lisa. Though re-listening to those two songs, I do actually skip them often. I don't actually like them that much. As I'm writing this script and filming this video, I was re-listening to the albums, trying to listen and hear what commentary I can make about it, but I'm sitting here not enjoying these songs at all. And I want to enjoy them because I want to be an optimist, but I really don't like them. And I'm not enjoying them in the slightest. Teenage Millionaire was another one that I have saved, and I think it's because I was clinging on to the guitar riffs that I missed so desperately. But I will say I've had the same Spotify account since 2013, so I think this is why it's saved. But the chorus is nice. I enjoyed listening to it. Besides You Ruin Me, Let Me Out is one I actually love. I love when they get all edgy and sad girl on me. I think that's where they thrive, at least during this era. They do heartbreak really well, and I don't skip this one often. On my re-listen, I didn't hate More Like Me and You and Me. You and Me was really cute, and More Like Me felt solid. I didn't save them, I'm not gonna go listen to them, but I found them tolerable. But I gotta be honest. Every other track is bad. It's bad. I want to like them. I really do, but I can't. There are some where they just feel like they're trying too hard, like Sanctified, Born Bob Dylan, Always, and some where I literally have to turn them off because the cringing just gets so intense that I wanted to get up from my desk. Okay, I'm looking at you, Cold. Oh, that song is so bad. Lisa, Jess, if you ever see this, please know I love you. I admire you so much for everything you have endured and how talented you both are, and I love that you experiment with sound, but this was a miss for me, and no matter what I do, I will never like this album, and trust, it hurts more for me to say that than it hurts you. Despite not releasing another album for a little while, the Veronicas were booked and busy, honey. They became judges and mentors on the Australian version of The Voice. They released 3 singles, which we'll talk about in a second, and Jessica started dating Ruby Rose again. I know that sounds kind of trivial and unimportant, but you wouldn't believe how actually important it is to the entire Veronicas lore. They released their single In My Blood in 2016. This is a very popular song for them. People love this song. Me, being an EDM hater, I don't love it, but I don't really matter. I will say I do love the visuals for this music video. I mean, they are so cool.
We don't have to really love.
They also released the song On Your Side in 2016. To me, it's like the less popular sister of In My Blood. Again, I'm not a fan of this song because I don't like EDM, but it had a very serious music video to go along with it. It was about love and abuse and addiction, and it was directed by Jessica's girlfriend at the time, Ruby Rose. You remember Ruby Rose, right? I swear, in like 2015, 2016, every straight girl watched her on Orange is the New Black and suddenly questioned their sexuality for the first time. Every girl I knew thought they were a lesbian just because she was androgynous. It was like... Anyway, the message of that music video feels a little sour now, knowing what kind of relationship they had in real life. Ruby and Jess's relationship literally ripped the Veronicas apart. It would take too long to do a complete timeline of their relationship, but it was crazy. Lisa and Ruby did not get along. Ruby even accused Lisa of homophobia, which Lisa had to clarify, hey girl, not homophobic. They kept delaying albums, things weren't working out with the record label as a result. When they broke up, Jess accused Ruby of harassment. Ruby accused the twins of being horrific. Oh, it was a lot, okay? It was a lot. They even addressed how detrimental that relationship was on them. They talked about it on their show, Blood is for Life.
When someone goes through the kind of relationship Jess was in, it's not like one day you just wake up okay and you just forget all those different things you were made to feel. Although I have so many regrets in staying as long as I did and not standing up for myself more, I did the most that I could to love that person the best I could. I find it really hard to say her name. I find it really hard to hear her name. I find it really hard to have that relationship referenced back to me because I still find it difficult to process.
What happened with the Ruby thing? That's long gone now. What happened there? Because you guys seemed like you were in love and then it was finished.
Yeah, you know, it was a very complex relationship and it was time to leave that situation and be as happy and healthy as I deserve to be.
Yikes. On a slightly lighter note, let's talk about Blood is for Life. This short-lived MTV series is my shit. I love it. It honestly, MTV needed to put more effort into it because they did not do my girls justice, but it really highlighted them getting back into each other's lives after not being together for so long, and just the ups and downs that came with it. I've watched it a few times, and I gotta say, it really makes you like them more, even in the moments where you aren't supposed to like them.
I was thinking, I'm sorry, but like maybe you could just like, what if we saved money on some of the stuff from your room? So what if we didn't do, you know how you wanted to replace... Like what? Well, you know how you wanted to replace that door there with another door? What if we just kept that door as it is? That's the room you wanted, Chi-Chi. Well, I don't want it anymore. Well, that's the reason you can have that room if you want. I'll take that room. I'm really happy with my room, thank you very much. I took the risk by saying yes to that part of the house. You got your freaking room, the one you wanted. Babe, no, there's no way. I hate it. Oh, I'm sorry. And I hate you! You're acting a bit extreme. No, Bug, come. I'm going to my cave.
They also released the single Ugly to serve as the theme song for Blood is for Life, and I gotta say, I like this song a lot more than the other two singles mentioned in this section.
I wonder if you play that song we used to sing.
In 2019, our girls released the single Think of Me, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was my second year of college, and I remember listening to that song in my dorm room, silently emotional as I stared out the window. Not because it was a super deep song or anything, I mean, it is very emotional, it's about heartbreak, but it was because I thought, damn, the Veronicas are back, baby! This song was just so catchy and edgy, and though it was pop and not at all rock, I didn't mind because it was just so good. I loved it so much. I remember I played it so much that my roommates were like, oh, you playing that song about head again? Shortly after Think of Me, their fourth album, Godzilla, was announced. And they also announced that they were going to release their fifth album, Human, a month after. I, personally, was shitting bricks at this point. Not only were we going to get an album that sounded like Think of Me, but we were going to get two albums that sounded like Think of Me. God, I was so naive. Godzilla and Human were supposed to reflect the two different personalities of the Veronicas, and I don't know if that's true, but I remember listening to these albums and being disappointed by both of them. I literally listened to them both in the same day, saved a couple songs, and never listened to them again. I think I literally gave up on the Veronicas at that point. They were just doing more of the stuff I didn't like, so I thought, I'll never get my girls back. For the sake of this video, I gave them a fair listen through again to provide a realistic opinion that was fair and not blinded by my nostalgia glasses. So when I first listened to this album, I did save the song Godzilla as it brought back my beloved guitar riffs, and I still kind of enjoy that song. The album featured In My Blood and The Only High, singles that I don't think belong on this album cohesively. While I didn't really like those songs, and I still don't, on my re-listen I enjoyed High Score. I found the nostalgic intro to be hypnotizing, and Stealing Cars, the chorus mostly, and Godzilla, obviously. Most songs were kind of just meh. I wanted to like them more, but they just blurred into the pop sphere for me. With the exception of the two singles that don't belong there, the album is very retro pop. It makes me feel like I'm in an episode of Stranger Things, and if that's your vibe, this is a great album for you. This one doesn't feel like a bad album, it just feels like it's not for me. The only song I actually hated were In It to Win It and Kaleidoscope. Those two I just thought were bad songs. So let's talk about Human. It already feels more personal than Godzilla from the first song you play. Like when you hit play on the album, you're like, oh, this one's more personal. It features Think of Me, On Your Side, and Biting My Tongue. This album is a lot more vibey. If Godzilla is Stranger Things, this is, I don't know, Euphoria? I've never seen Euphoria, but this album just feels like something you'd put on during a smoke session, and that gives the same vibes to me. Please correct me in the comments if Euphoria is not like a smoke session show, but like, this is the vibe that Human gives me. When I went to go re-listen to the album, I didn't actually save any songs. Besides Think of Me, obviously Think of Me is one of my favorite songs. I have Life of the Party saved, I have for a while, but I always skip it. I'm just not a fan of that song, and it's because I don't like vibey music when I'm sober. Like if I'm out with my friends having a good time and you put on some vibey shit that I don't usually like, I'll still have fun because it's a vibe. But this whole album just feels like I need to be high to listen to it or drunk to listen to it, and that's just not my thing. I didn't hate anything though, which I think is a big upgrade from their self-titled album. I think if you like pop music, like true generic pop, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, I think you'll love this album. Especially tracks like Human and Goodbye. I don't, but stream it for me, okay? Give them money, please. Stream it for me. We are going to flash forward to 2022, where the Veronicas part ways with Sony Music Australia. I don't know why, but apparently the label just kind of sucks, and I saw that a lot of their artists leave, so they're probably just a shitty label. Or some management internal thing, I don't know, but they left. Anyway, they signed with a smaller label called Big Noise, which has other artists such as Modsun and The Used and Ashley Tisdale and New Politics. Though I couldn't actually look on their website because every time I tried to, it just kept saying redirection issue and I couldn't load it, so Big Noise. Get your website checked, buddy. They released 2 songs under this thing called the Solo Project, where the girls individually made songs without the other one.
Masturbation.
They hadn't really done that before, besides that weird period I was talking about earlier where they went and did like backup vocals and side projects. They even admitted like on Instagram that they had never really done anything like that before, and there's a lot of interviews that say they kind of felt uncomfortable without the other one. But these songs were made in collaboration with Vodka Cruiser and featured songs with themes of female sexuality and masturbation, and I gotta say, these songs are fucking bangers, dude. I remember hearing these songs coming out and being like, holy shit, these are so good.
I won't be wasting my time.
Cruisin' on My Own is a lovely doo-wop, vintage-inspired, sexy ballad with visuals to match. Lisa looks stunning in her 60s and 70s inspired looks, crooning about the sweeter side of sex.
You'll find me cruising.
Seeing Stars is an edgy, eclectic, powerful song reminding you of how it feels to be on the edge of orgasm, supported with monster trucks and a garage band. It's harder to pick which one I like more. I think Seeing Stars is right up my alley, but the visuals of Cruising on My Own take the cake for me. I always seem to align more with Jess anyway, so I gotta say I think I like Seeing Stars a little bit more. Now we move to 2023, when the sisters release a little song called Perfect and announce a new album, Gothic Summer.
Can take champagne to the grave. We all end up 6 feet under anyways. It doesn't matter who you were before, 'cause no one's actually keeping score. So
when I heard it, it almost felt too good to be true. I had that same feeling that I had when I heard You Ruined Me and when I heard Think of Me, and that scared me because it was that feeling of they're back, and I was let down each time, but this time I was right.
no one makes it out alive.
It was like I was listening to Forever again. I'm like actually getting emotional thinking about it. They were giving me everything I loved about them all over again. The edgy pop rock sound with their guitars back in their hands, but with that 2024 flair. I miss them so much and I was so happy they were back. I only wish the song was longer. I needed so much more of it. Then they released a second single and I got nervous. Their past 3 albums were letdowns for me, and I knew the second single would determine the vibe of this album, and I was so happy to be worried for nothing. Next was Detox, which in my opinion is an even better song than Perfect, and quite possibly like the best song on the album. This song is everything I could have hoped for, a pissed off rock track with a slight hip hop influence, and I'm obsessed with it. And in the music video, they just look so hot.
When I close my eyes, I see you. When I paralyze, I feel you.
Oh my god, sometimes I forget I'm attracted to women and then I watch videos like this and yeah, I remember I'm definitely attracted to women. Next was Here to Dance, which wasn't the pop rock vibe of the other two, but somehow it's like if the Veronicas had a baby with Dua Lipa. I don't know how it didn't get a music video, but it is a fantastic dance banger that I actually really enjoy. It channels that 70s funky ABBA-esque sound that's super popular right now. I don't know, it's just really good. It's just really good, okay? It should be on the radio. Honestly, it should be charting in the US right now. The full album released in March of this year, and I'm so happy to say that I loved it. I loved it. It finally felt like my girls were back. I waited so long for them and I missed them so much. It brought back my classic edgy pop rock I adored, while also experimenting with other sounds in a way that worked, not disconnected like their self-titled record. Ribcage is a ballad that hurts so good. Jungle is a fun B-52s inspired bop, and Invisible is my favorite song on the album. I feel like I'm in a movie, I feel like I'm in a music video, I feel like I need to make a montage of my life to that song. Only song I don't like is Savage, and it's because it feels like a rejected song from Human. Honestly, whoever the rapper is on this song makes me laugh every time he spits out a single word in his goofy ass Australian accent.
And we live on, you can't be right if you do me wrong. You knew what I was when I changed yourself, and you found yourself when the truth was lost.
And like, no offense to this guy, he's got a flow, but like, I can't help but laugh every time I listen to this. We're moving on. It's so bad. Genuinely, my only complaint with Gothic Summer, besides that one song, is that it does feel like an EP rather than an album, which I understand is probably related to them being under a smaller record label, but I desire more tracks, and I need more.
I'm having
I have loved these girls and their music since I was very young, and I hope that you can see all the reasons that I do. Their music was so special to me, and it still remains really special to me. In fact, I always dreamed of seeing them on tour, but they weren't able to come to the US often, and I never thought I'd get to see them because, you know, they aren't very popular here. Even when they announced the tour that they just finished this year, because they weren't coming to a city near me. However, I did notice that they were in Seattle the same time that I planned to visit my friends in Washington, so as a birthday gift to me, they got me tickets to their show. I had the best time. I cried so much. I hadn't cried that much since when I saw Panic at the Disco for the first time, and I was so emotional that my body literally forced my period to start because I had so many hormones rushing into my body. But seeing the Veronicas in concert literally made me cry just as much.
Please stand for the national anthem.
It felt like a dream come true. I was really healing my inner child that day, and I couldn't process all of the emotions that I was feeling. I was also very drunk. My friend's mom kept buying me drinks and I kept drinking them, but needless to say, most of the tearing up started when I was sober. They were also killer live. I don't know how I didn't notice how good of vocalists they were until I saw them live. Their recordings do not do them justice. They are so talented. Besides their music, they're also just really fun. I recommend you watch their reality show after this. It shows their interesting dynamic and the goofier parts of their personality, and also the kind of dark and human parts of their personality. I think overall they're pretty good role models and great supporters of the LGBTQ community. I stan, you know, I stan. I made this video to share some info about them because I think it's actually a crime that people don't know who they are. I know I've said that already, but I really mean it. They need to blow up in the US, and they know it. They literally at the concert were like, you guys need to— why am I trying to do an Australian accent? I can't do one. You guys need to follow us on Instagram. They basically said that they were like, we need more followers on Instagram so that we could blow up in the United States. And I was like, LOL, bold of you to assume that I haven't been following this entire time. I asked that if you enjoyed this video, you go stream their music. Even the stuff I hated. It might be your new favorite thing. Even if none of it is your favorite thing, I think these women deserve all the success in the world. I just think they're so talented and kind and hardworking, and if anything, if you need any more incentive, they've brought me a lot of joy throughout my life. If you want to bring me some joy, make them famous, because I want to share that joy with other people, and especially y'all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I sound a little weird. I suddenly just got very sick, and I'm working with a new model and my tracking is all crazy. So I hope you enjoyed regardless, and I hope that you go stream the Veronicas, especially Untouched and their new album. They're very good. Okay, bye!